Hi, I'm Jonathan Holmes, and you're listening to PodTea'd episode 53.
Dave.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's on the recording.
That's the pre-roll.
I mean, us Dave bow-wowing is very important for the listeners.
We can bow, 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 bow.
Ah,
Wiki wiki wow wow.
ah, fuck you, mate. Ah, fuck you.
Welcome, faithful listeners. On that note, no, I'm not going to do that. That was not a successful answer.
Start the show.
No, I'm
For
not
fuck's
gonna.
sake, show's starting. Welcome to PodTea'd. What is this?
Uh,
55?
This is episode 3000. We are in the future.
Yeah,
The distant future, the year 2000.
Matt caught up on editing episodes so much that he's edited all the future episodes. And we just decided to release one early, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just sneak
for
preview.
our and by the way, I'm Maddie Shoestring. I like Dota.
It's the year 3000, and we're still playing the same video games.
Yeah, but not much has changed, you know. But
We live underwater.
live underwater.
I mean, Sam is
See,
still
that's the
working
thing.
on his mod.
I get the feeling me and Sam were racing to get to that.
I'm going to try and include it a bit more naturally, but, you know, whatever. Whatever.
I think the problem is that I think the moment I said 3000, the gears in my brain went off.
Well, I was about to go there, but I was gonna kind of give it a minute, and you know, I was going to introduce the fact that the world's been flooded, but no.
No, I had to burst in and say,
You had to
say,
burst
hey,
in and ruin my fun. How dare you?
Ed,
Very dare you.
how did that feel, by the way?
Maddie just knifed me in CSGO. We're still playing CSGO.
Yeah.
It's year 3000. It hasn't changed much.
They've ported it to Source 4.
Yeah. And now the pistols are more competitively viable than the rifles, which was a thing that Valve did so that more people would buy pistols instead of rifles.
They are just deagling the fuck out of the stuff now.
Yeah, this has become Counter-Strike Deagle offensive. I don't even know if that wasn't even a clever joke. My mouth is dumb today.
You know what?
They've changed the way hostages work. I mean, they had them before, like they would follow you. Then they made it so you pick them up. Now you have to throw them.
I don't like that.
You have to properly, like, throw them at a hostage point. And if you can't get them in one go, then they explode and you've got to try again.
Nice.
They've been teasing the next patch where you just put them into an Angry Birds style slingshot.
Yeah. Fuck off.
But you know, they're still testing out the throwing mechanics in this one.
Well, they're still using the old physics engine.
Of course they are. Valve doesn't make new engines.
We're still waiting for Half-Life 3, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Black Mesa 2, though, that's coming out.
Fucking the new games, right? They look amazing, but it's still the source engine. I don't know how Valve does.
I don't get why they call it Black Mesa 2 when it's a remake of Half-Life 2, though.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, they really should call it Black Mesa East.
Yeah, or City 17.
Or just Half-Life 2.
City 17 too.
That's a
17-2, yeah. That's the Final
172. There we go. We've named it for you. Okay.
I'd go for Black Mesa for Nintendo Wii U / Nintendo 3DS.
No one will remember those things in the future.
You're holding on to the Wii U like it's your baby, but just look. The thing died.
Adam, so did your baby, by the way.
The problem is, it was never there to begin with.
Yeah, it died in 2012.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the listeners are listening to this in the year 2014.
Give up on your fat
oh
baby.
yeah.
It's dead for a while. Don't worry about it.
At least it's fun playing all the old Nintendo games on the Xbox 7.
Well, you know, Super Mario Galaxy is best on Xbox.
I don't get what
With
Ice
Kinect,
Climbers again, though.
with Kinect, don't forget it.
Yeah, don't forget, Mario Galaxy is better with Kinect.
Yeah.
So, why did you call it Xbox 7? It's called the Xbox One.
Still.
No, they just keep calling it the Xbox One again.
I mean...
Which Xbox One do you mean? Do you mean the one that every now
I
and
mean, the
then has
tenth
lasers
one.
coming out of it, which was a regrettable detraction from Microsoft's vision for the future of video games. The whole lasers going into your eyes. That wasn't fun.
I don't know. I liked it.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. You know what?
You were already partially blinded by the Robot Wars, though.
Well, you know what?
Craig Charles was very ruthless.
You know what? Fuck that Chaz guy. I hate him so much.
As different guy.
You know what? They're all the
Different guy.
same.
No, but you know,
All the same to me.
after the Robot Wars, all Craigs were assimilated into one person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that. But it does mean that I'm now somehow still housemates with the guy from Red Dwarf. So I'm happy. I get to ask him what Robert Llewellyn was like before the Robot Wars. Robert Llewellyn was.
But he doesn't remember, does he?
No, he doesn't. But he comes up with things. Robert Llewellyn sadly was one of the early casualties of the Robot War, along with Warwick Davis. They both went. Basically, the entire cast of Ashens and the Quest for the Game Show.
Warwick Davis basically started it.
Well, yeah. I mean, he wanted cybernetic legs to be taller, and
Oh my fucking god!
not so much to be taller. I mean, it was more the accident that was the reason.
Ah, fuck you, Vid.
Well, who doesn't want to be taller? Aside from him now, because, well, he learned that pretty quickly.
Well,
Anyone who's like above 6'2", I feel like doesn't want to be taller.
He decided, the suit that Lord Business wore in the Lego Movie 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just those legs. He wanted those, but he tried to build them out of Lego.
The problem was that Carl Pilkington did a lot of the design.
Well, these people do know each other, so.
So, like, maybe you don't outsource the design to Carl.
Otherwise, you start the Great Robot Wars.
Exactly.
And now we have to pray to the great Lord Carl Pilkington every night.
And that's really inconvenient because, you've got to get down on the special pillow
And you have to eat a lot of scones.
It's just a pain in general. But in more positive news, I hear they are going to be showing Doom for the best fans next week.
Oh, finally! They're finally going to
Yeah.
show it to everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we
meanwhile-
out of joke territory now?
Meanwhile, Brutal Doom's been ported to, like, fucking Source 3, so. I reckon
Oh.
that.
So let me get this straight. Is this a
Brutal Half-Life.
spin-off of Brutal Doom, or is this
I
like
think
a
it's
remake?
Brutal,
sort of thing?
it's Brutal Doom 64.
Because I think we all know that. Well, I mean, one of our favourite games of last generation was Brutal Doom 7,
Yeah.
which introduced the all new.
I
Swearing.
thought the G-bike segments were really improved by Brutal Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
say
wary.
swearing?
I was wary at first about them transitioning into a more MMO style, but I kind of feel like it really works. I mean,
Yeah.
every now and then you'd get this little robot thing who's
Well,
like, "Hey, there's a ghost over there,"
the real
and then you
problem-
shoot it with a big old gun.
The real problem was that Ubisoft was publishing it. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it was weird when Ubisoft bought Bethesda.
And all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
what-
like, Assassin's Creed is happening in
Like,
Doom.
I'm
It's
sorry,
weird.
Brutal Doom 7 will only be running at 200p.
Are you sure we should be talking about this?
Fucking
Because
Ultimate Doom was 240p. Come on.
I'm kind of scared because I mean, Ubisoft do rule the known universe.
Well, I mean,
They made the Carl Pilkington.
that's why we all have...
Look,
Yeah.
no, don't worry. You can repent by playing Zombie for the ZX Spectrum tonight. Don't worry about it.
It's a shame. I mean, we should have all seen it coming. Assassin's Creed was just one big prophecy of their future.
Totally.
I mean, they were nice at first. They were all like, "Hey, we're making new Rayman games," and we're like, "Well, what could be wrong with that?"
Nothing
and-
wrong with that. Rayman's awesome.
Distractions.
It wasn't awesome when they sacrificed Rayman in that crowd there. I mean, they did kind of make that game that was just a picture of Rayman being hanged. And would the only other thing that happened was the subtitles saying, "Let this be a lesson to you."
I still don't understand how they got the noose around the neck.
Well, I mean, they do have a lot of people running around roofs, stabbing people, so...
They had to give him like a fake neck, didn't they? I mean, it was very.
Yeah, I don't remember. All I remember
Well,
was
they
that
sort
they.
of had a knot. They just sort of hung between the head and the body.
Well, he
all I
must have
remember
had,
was
like, an invisible
all
neck.
I'm-
I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, they had X's on his eyes, so he was clearly dead.
He seems to have an invisible neck, yeah.
Yeah, but all I remember was people on Twitter talking about that, and then their next tweet was, "This Twitter account has been deleted." and we never heard from them again.
Come on, man. You still use Twitter. Support for Twitter died out in 2020, and even Graham Linehan stopped using it the year after. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, after web, Twitter literally became nothing but the tweets people were favoriting and nothing else.
Which was a shame,
It's
because
really
that was
odd to follow what people were saying.
that was my main source for video game news for the longest time. And,
Was it really?
and like because there's still no ethics in game journalism,
Hold
even
on,
in the year 3000.
Hold on. There's a Gamergate meeting. I gotta go. Talk to you guys later.
Oh, right.
It's still going on, by the way. It's still
Yeah,
going on.
Yeah, that was
need-
a joke. That was a joke. Yeah.
We need more of those ethics.
You know what?
I think this joke is run its course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
We have come up with
10
the
minutes ago.
shittest episode of Black Mirror yet.
What's Black Mirror?
What? Okay, so in the future, you still haven't seen the best television series ever made that isn't Breaking Bad. So
I've seen Star Trek Next Generation.
right, no.
This-
The best television series that isn't Breaking Bad. It
We
was
have come up with
one
the
of,
episode that Charlie Brooker writes on a dare just to show how shit he can be.
one of the most
Black Mirror? I've never heard. Is it
One of-
Blackadder?
No, one of the best episodes of Black Mirror was co-written by Connie Huck from Blue Peter.
Of course I know who that is.
You don't know who that is because you're
I'm having
Brit.
tea with him.
But everyone
Monday.
here who knows Blue Peter is freaking out.
What's Blue? Is that porn?
No, Blue Peter is a children's TV show. The exact opposite of porn.
Welcome to PodTea'd, everyone's favourite video game podcast.
Sam, you threw down the gauntlet now, didn't you?
Oh dear.
Yeah, hello, welcome to PodTea'd.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
I'm
Seriously, a Doom engine MMO would be really cool to see.
No, I want a brutal Half-Life.
Brutal Half-Life. Half-Life's really not designed for it because Half-Life, in order for that kind of gameplay, you need level design that is just for mowing boards. So I can imagine like a brutal Serious Sam. I can imagine that working, but I could not imagine a brutal Half-Life.
Is it not brutal
A
enough?
brutal Quake 1 would work.
Brutal Quake would work. Brutal Duke Nukem would work.
Absolutely. Well, he's been making he made an April Fool's video about that.
It would need a lot more enemies, I feel.
Well,
yeah.
But Brutal Doom adds more enemies. It's not hard to do.
Yeah, it's not really hard to do.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it's comparatively compared to the rest of the mod. It's
Well, do it then, Sam.
yeah, but
Sam.
I've got no experience in modding for like Duke Nukem or.
What? You know.
Yeah, fucking using the build engine.
Oh,
no.
Make excuses now, Sam.
Well, I
can take a brutal Quake.
I'll be honest, right? I
Yeah.
think my skills in the Source engine and Unreal 4 will carry over to the fucking build engine.
You know what? Deal with it.
Deal with it. I am dealing with
The
it.
build engine which doesn't even really actually have different levels of height.
Don't think it does it?
No, they fake it.
Teleports you, of course.
Yeah, it teleports you.
Oh.
That's how they did it.
Oh.
That's clever.
There's different levels of height, isn't there? But there's not floors above floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no floors above floors. Instead, everything you like.
Yeah, it's
even
brutal. Even the
all the water is just a teleporting surface.
Oh, really?
yeah, that's why you appear in a different spot on the map.
I have never considered that.
Which is actually Doom.
Clever.
Doom can actually now do floors above floors. It's been able to do it for a few years.
Yes.
Is it now finally able after 20 years?
Yeah, it was sort of 5 years ago or so, but they got it working in like the source ports by you have a dummy sector that is just a block somewhere else at the height you want, and then you like assign a level piece to be that sector, and it will have the floating block.
It's one of those wonderful things where like no one will actually have any practical use for this ever in their entire life, but it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck are people still working on the Doom engine?
Yeah, like it's the reason we got the Quake engine.
Exactly.
For the lulz, obviously. Come on.
For the last...
Sam, I thought you were a grown-up. Go back to baby school, bro.
Okay, I'll go back to baby school.
I bet you will.
I will.
Those babies.
It is cool to see what people do with like the old engines. And
Definitely.
Stuff.
I mean,
Like,
there's
it's really
that game.
impressive.
There's that horror game. That's being done in the Doom engine. It looks really.
It looks
There's
really
a Doom.
cool.
There's a Doom. Is it an RPG?
No. Oh, yeah, actually it might be an RPG. Actually thinking about it.
There's a Doom RPG, I know.
That's not what I'm thinking of, but yeah, that actually doesn't use the Doom engine.
Yeah, Doom RPG doesn't use the Doom engine.
Doom
Doom
RPG
RPG was...
Really?
Doom RPG actually used something more similar to the Wolfenstein engine.
I feel lied too.
It doesn't render floors or ceilings.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's completely 2D, actually.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty cool, though. It's,
Good game, very good game.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
One of the best games you can play on like a cheap Nokia phone.
Yeah, Wolfenstein RPG, though, was 3D.
It was, as was Doom 2 RPG.
Okay, I never should play Doom 2 RPG. I should play that.
It's the same engine as Wolfenstein RPG.
That's cool.
Okay,
That's the only Doom game with a female protagonist.
I didn't even know that had a female protagonist.
Yeah, you have 3 protagonists. You have the Sergeant, who is the Marine character, and the scientist, and then the Major, I think she is, the female character.
Yeah.
Isn't Doom Guy Mormon?
Doom Guy Mormon?
What?
In one of the books, like the books about Doom, he is very Mormon, apparently.
He's
Well,
Mormon.
Yes,
What?
Mormon.
I'm assuming you mean Flynn Taggart from the Death Abuse novels.
Yeah, isn't that Doom Guy?
He's Doom Guy in the novels, correct. I don't remember him being Mormon, but it has a very heavy...
He like reads the Book of Mormon and in a lot of it.
I mean, it has also a lot of religious themes in the first 2 books, because, it deals with hell. But then it decides that hell doesn't exist, and it becomes about aliens from Jupiter or something, and...
It was easier to rationalize that.
The 3rd and 4th book are terrible.
Yeah, I saw a show about the video game, tie-in.
Oh, the first 2 are pretty good, actually. It actively respects the story of Doom, and even takes into consideration the level design. It will talk about certain characters being the bodies of certain characters being found in certain spots and stuff. They're looking for this guy, and they find him impaled on a stick, and the way they describe the environment, you realize, wait, that impaled Marine exists in this place in the Doom game.
That's pretty cool, guy.
That is really cool. I like the first 2 novels a lot.
It's nice, faithful stuff you often don't get in adaptations.
I found the Gears of Wars books were because they were written by
How do you do a book about Gears of War?
Well, it was written by the lady that then wrote the 3rd game.
Well, it's more... How do you do a book about Gears of War that isn't just the words muscles, guns, and chainsaws?
Giant world.
Well, the books are set between the 2nd and the 3rd game, so
it still doesn't answer my question.
Do you really want me to go into it?
Not particularly.
Do you really,
No.
Sam?
No, but I get what you're saying, though, because there's a bunch of interesting video game time novels and this stuff.
Basically,
Hitman got 2 of them.
What you do is
Halo has got a very good series of
Guild Wars, Elder Scrolls.
Sort of Mass Effect sometimes.
Yeah, Dragon Age. Well, was it Dragon Age or Mass Effect that had a novel 2 years ago that completely fucked up everything in the lore? And was this is not canon.
That was Mass Effect. It totally got everything.
Yeah, it got character sexualities wrong and everything.
Oh, but he got basic concepts the what's it called, the one with the helmets and everything, suits on.
Yeah. They were described as wearing tribal.
Basics, not even self-contained suits, just
So sometimes it can go really bad, and sometimes it can go pretty good.
Yeah,
I never read the Rage novel, actually.
I was really disappointed that Fallout doesn't have any expanded stuff like that.
It doesn't, but there's so much in it that you don't really...
Well, fuck
There
you, I
is
want
so
more
much in it.
Fallout. Fuck you, Sam.
Well, no, but I'm saying, there's so much
Sam.
stuff already that...
What does it do that?
There is expanded stuff in Fallout, but it's all, comics.
Oblivion
It's
has
the
2
wiki.
books.
Well, yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oblivion has 2 books, I know that much.
Yep, I have both of them.
Are they good?
They're alright. I mean, it's not really Oblivion, it's Elder Scrolls in general.
That time.
Yeah, but it's the 4th era, yes. I think the first novel starts right at the end of the 3rd era.
Okay. But it's in that time period.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Ed.
Look, apparently the World of Warcraft books are very good. Specifically Warcraft, not just World.
The comics were sort of good for a bit.
Apparently they're very...
There were
I've got a friend...
StarCraft novels, too.
Got Got a friend.
The Warcraft, not specifically just video games, but they're quite good when they're written by the right guy. The Warhammers.
Should we talk about actual video games and not?
I have a video game to talk about.
Oh my god! Go for it. Go.
It's a Ubisoft game because those are the only ones that exist in the
I've been playing some Assassin's Creed 3 just for
Can we
the.
stop with that
No.
story now?
Okay, I have a story to tell. It's about
But
the
he
video
has
game.
he has been playing Assassin's Creed though. Anyway, go on.
It's just mindless entertainment. But yeah. Okay, right. This is a game from the past. Made by Swedish people. It's called Crusader Kings 2.
Shit, you have over 1,000 hours in that.
No,
That's not that much in the past.
It's a few years. Fuck off, Sam. But, whatever your name is.
Well,
Jerry. Okay. Crusader Kings 2, for those that don't know, is a grand strategy game, which has a lot of shit in it. A lot of numbers, a lot of menus. And all the characters, you're basically, you play a character that, and not a country. So each character, everyone in the game has a straight traits and skills. So like he can be generous or cowardly or brave and so forth, and they react accordingly to it. Like brave characters hate cowards and so on. And certain traits gives you certain specific decisions you can take. So I had playing myself. I was playing a king, a very unpopular king, because he has bad traits because he was depressed. And when you're depressed, you get a lot of minus everything basically. And because I was depressed as well, I could have this special decision to kill myself. So, and there was going to be a civil war any moment, and my brother was going to split the kingdom up. So instead of letting civil war happen, I simply had the character kill himself, and then I got a better sort of dude to play with. And I think that is the best use of depression within a video game I have ever seen.
Okay.
It's the only form of depression I remember from video games.
Yeah, it's not often used.
Like for it to have this big a gameplay.
As a game mechanic.
Yeah, as a game mechanic. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that before.
It's had themes of depression, but never like a full-on. You are depressed now. You can do this thing. Isn't that cool, guys?
Yeah. It also
interesting.
Yeah, it incentivizes you to kill yourself, though.
The funny thing was that the character was named after me, and the brother in the game was named after my real brother. So it's like, oh shit, I killed myself. Well, fuck.
What are these emotions?
What are emotions?
Yeah.
Polygons.
They are.
Yeah.
Do you like it, Adam? Tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you think about the grand strategy games.
You love grand strategies,
Killing
Adam.
yourself isn't fun.
Actually, it was quite delightful in that game. It's like, oh fuck, is there a civil war going to happen? No. Instead of killing babies for once, I'm gonna kill myself.
And the kingdom rejoiced!
Yay! The babies are safe for a few years until another plot comes up where he can get power.
See, I like this kind of games when they're Long Live the Queen.
That's also
extremely hardcore, yeah.
I mean, it is in what you do in it. It's just very girly.
As in the entire point is that sometimes you have to sort of become the monster in order to survive.
It's a Games of Thrones. Crusader Kings 2 is basically a Games of Thrones simulator before it even came out, I think.
While Long Live the Queen is the anime adaptation.
Yeah, 14-year-old boys have 14-year-old daughters apparently in it.
But to be fair, damn it, Andrea's not here. We can't make fun of anime.
Sure we can. Anime is shit.
Not all of it.
Most of it, though. All it takes is most of it.
Yeah, but that is like saying most of television is shit. Well, yeah. It's true.
Yeah. You know what?
No. Most of the popular television is shit.
The thing is, most of British people are shit. I think we can all agree.
Which is why I was a little bit surprised that Breaking Bad was as good as it was. Because it's everyone said it's really good. Oh, Oh wait,
Yeah.
it actually genuinely
Yeah,
is.
I
Yes.
I
thought
can
that-
prove that at least some British people are shit. I went
Yeah.
into town today, and because I think by the time this episode's out, we may be
Talking town.
nearing the big election that's coming up. So,
Another one?
well, it's a by-election.
Well, for the people who don't know,
It's going to be a referendum so that
No.
so that England can secede from the UK.
I would like that.
that would be
I
odd.
would
considering
love it if we
England
voted
is-
to secede from London.
Yes, sadly,
Oh, the city of London. Oh God, yeah.
sadly,
It's just London.
No, go on, Sam, go on.
it's not that. It's
It's not that. Oh.
UKIP have decided they want to have a go, and
Yay!
Well, they got a bit more of a
So they
running
just,
start with it because I live in Rochester and Strood district, which had Mark Reckless as a Conservative MP, but then he decided, you know what, being Conservative is shit.
it is.
I want to be UKIP
I want to
now.
be fucking mental.
So, and then he said, I therefore quit my position as MP because I've just changed my party, and we're going to have the whole election again. But this time you have to decide whether or not you want me back, but as UKIP.
Adam, I feel
So-
like I have for the last 7 years lived in Clacton-on-Sea, which is now a UKIP.
Ooh.
And the third largest party in Sweden is also Swedish version of UKIP.
That's the thing. Everyone's sort of been saying
Fuck Europe
we don't
right
want to
now.
be the first people to get UKIP in, but it was Sam who did it instead.
Well,
so
no,
Yeah.
actually,
I'm gonna say-
it wasn't actually me. Luckily, I do not live there anymore, and therefore was not eligible to vote in that. So I can't feel bad about.
Oh, no, okay. Sam, first of all,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Sam,
Yeah.
Sam, I mean.
Sam, right? Sam.
Yeah.
Did you vote last time?
Well, no, I wasn't old enough.
Oh, you can't complain.
No, you can't complain. Did you vote? Okay, last time have you ever been able to vote?
I was able to vote in the European Parliament elections.
Did you vote?
No, because I wasn't able to get there.
Oh, excuses. Oh.
Okay. By the
we
time
can use the but I mistook Russell Brand for a political commentator instead of a celebrity. I think that's one of my. I saw I can't remember if it's Click or Onion, but the whole new rule. Can we not have any celebrities talking about this stuff anymore? Because they obviously don't know anything.
Sometimes they do, but generally not.
But that's like 90% of the time they don't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, 90%, no one knows what they're talking about.
Do you know what's funny with the Scotland thing? They asked a bunch of famous Scottish people, like, oh yeah, what do you feel about it? And pretty much all of them said, yeah, we're not actually eligible to vote in this.
But because
we
they
don't
left
live,
Scotland.
Yeah, because we don't live in Scotland anymore. We're not eligible to vote. Therefore, my
says a lot.
opinion is no longer valid, according to Scotland. According to Scotland, I am no... Like David Tennant said, according to Scotland, I do not count as Scottish anymore.
Well,
Which
I mean,
is really
I-
weird.
I understand this. Can't they have dual citizenship?
You don't need it. It's the UK.
Well, why can't they vote?
'Cause you have to live in... The way they do it is your home address has to be in Scotland to vote in that referendum.
So if I lived there, a dirty foreigner, I could
I
vote.
think you don't count because you are not a UK national.
If I had citizenship.
No, you have to be a UK national to vote, I think.
What?
Which means you have to be born here.
What?
Racist.
Racist?
I'm not sure, because I know
Sam?
that's how it is in the US.
Sam?
We all
why-
need to
why
start
are you so
looking
racist?
into and researching about this election that has already happened.
Yes. No, but in the US, you have
No,
to...
let's pretend this was
Well,
actually
it's
in
the
the
fucking
past.
US. Are we eating deep fried butter right now?
No, we're not. I'm saying I don't know how it is here. I'm
This is
saying...
neither the US nor Scotland. We're not.
Hey, figure it
Actually,
out,
no,
Sam.
it's Scotland.
No,
What?
no.
It's the same country. It doesn't... Scotland isn't technically a fucking country.
It's a region.
Well, no, it's weird. It's a country, but it's not. In the same way that Trinidad and Tobago, both of them are countries, despite the fact that they're the same country.
Where the fuck is that?
Where the fuck is Trinidad or Tobago?
You've never heard of either of those?
I know it's
Oh.
Trinidad. I know the names, but I don't know what that is.
I only know a lot of countries' names because they always appeared on FIFA.
Fuck off, Sam.
That's not...
Jesus.
Oh, fucking hell! Get the names right.
Fuck off. Jerry.
But yeah, I mean, the main point is that there's a big old election. Everyone's focusing on the area I live in because apparently it's a really important
Are you
by-election.
It's-
Nigel
it's-
Farage has declared it the most important by-election in 30 years.
The reason why they think it's important is because it's a place that isn't the worst place in the country, which is...
Yes, it is.
No, the worst
Have you
place...
been to fucking Strood?
Yes, I have. My dad used to live... my grandma used to live there. I used to go there fairly regularly.
Rude, I like that name.
So yeah, I do know it. It's
The
not
Woolworths
the
was
worst
shut
place in the
down.
country. It's shit, but it's not the worst place in the country. However, the Clacton-on-Sea jurisdiction does have the worst place in the country, which is Jaywick, which is widely regarded and has many times won the worst place to live in the country poll.
I've lived in a place like that, actually.
I think the thing is that the Rochester side of it is very nice, as in
Yeah, that's where she used to live. In fairness, she used to live in Rochester, but I saw the rest. I've seen it.
As in Rochester is very scenic. It's very.
I've got a
It's
castle.
kind of small.
I'm learning so much about the British geography.
No, you're looking
Yeah.
at place names. That's not geography.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, as in, there's a reason why UKIP have only ever had pictures taken of all the official people there just in Rochester.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
As in, there's a reason why no one's setting up headquarters in Strood.
They don't do a lot of posters on my street either.
They'll do plenty of posters. They're everywhere now.
Yeah.
I kept walking past numerous different booths for UKIP and Conservatives, and the other two parties they can just sort of go back to Scotland.
The real interesting thing about UKIP winning Clacton is that UKIP mostly run on a platform of anti-immigration and anti-Europe.
Yeah.
Immigration in Clacton is at 0.
Well, of course. Then they can say, "Oh, it's so good here, guys."
It's actually completely 0.
How the hell do you manage that?
Day after
UKIP voters are going like, "Oh, but we want to curb immigration." But like, no, it's the local election. There is no immigration here. There's none. Nobody is coming here.
How do they manage that?
then
how is
you
this?
could
Oh,
get
no,
says,
it's
well,
a
look at what we've been-
shithole. That's
Yeah,
how
but
they manage it.
They still get like forced in here to live. You know,
No,
if
but
you're
like immigration from other countries is well, it's not quite as it's at like under 1%. It is at a level that could be rounded to 0.
Jesus, can I just like?
Can I move there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I just like move to Clacton with you, Sam?
well-
you have to move. You have to move back to Clacton. So that
Well,
I can move
you
too.
can, but I mean, you might not be welcome now.
But I don't care. When you're just gonna say, "Hello, look at me. I have strange passport. Do you want some goulash?"
That's exactly what I'm going to do when I go there.
Yes.
I am white, but have slightly strange accent.
Look at my thick mustache. I grow it in 2 days.
Big American titties.
Where is the thatch roof and cow, please?
What? Where's what?
That's roof and cow.
Is that not what you get when you go to England?
Well, you have to. If you want to make it work, then you have to go there via cow.
I would
You have to
like
be
some
riding the
lamb
cow.
fat now, yes.
I do not afford the car.
Where is bucket of lard?
Oh no, I want to go Scotland.
I wear
Lard
kilt
more
now, yes.
prominent.
I want to go Scotland, but cow die on the way there. I'm stuck.
You
Please
pay
help.
for many children, yes?
So yeah, this
So
is what we
anyway.
have in store if UKIP take over.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, if UKIP doesn't take over, that's what's going to happen. Immigrants like that are going to come in.
Yeah, dirty vids.
Yeah, dirty vids.
I mean, do you want a vid? Okay, Sam, imagine, right? You have a daughter. She's sexy. Do you want a vid to marry her?
Do I want a vid? No, never. No.
I mean, that vid, right? He's sweaty. He has
Oh, God.
big, meaty hands. It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like shaking hands with like 5 pierogies. It's that fucking thick.
Oh my god. Oh,
And it's-
I can't stand for this.
And your daughter is like, "Oh, I love him, Papa. Oh,
No, how dare you?
Oh, he's so
You will go back
manly."
in the cupboard for a million years and at the top of the tower.
Oh, Papa, no, I want to vote.
Know your place. You're not allowed to. No, this is the worst thing.
Also,
Now all I'm doing is doing that fucking sketch. I forgot the guy who did the sketch where it's like the old timey instructional video.
we need to keep a tally of how many characters Maddie makes up as his voice.
It was slightly different. Shut up.
No, it wasn't.
It was not that different.
It was with a British accent.
That is not your British accent.
That was my British girl accent.
His vocal range is not massive. I will give you that.
No, I just have massive genitals.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
massive genitals. Like wow.
Sam is always dogging me about my genitals, right? Just say, "Oh, Maddie, show them to me." And I say, "Oh, come on, Sam, I don't want to show you my dick."
None of that has ever happened ever.
No, I would never say no to you. It's like, "Hey, Maddie, show me your dick." Okay.
Wee.
And just flies out and slaps me in the face.
So I've played a game, but
Is it a real game or like a pretend game?
well,
Do you have to flick the screen to play it?
actually, I'm actually going to wait for Andrea to get back before talking about this because it's a game that she likes. So,
Do you know what I want to hear from them? Who I want to hear from?
who?
Well, you could fucking ask, yeah. I want to hear from my son, Vid.
Oh,
Vid.
Papa.
Oh, how's the adoption going? Like, do you like your new home?
I don't know why you sent me to Slovenia of all fucking places.
Well, I mean, garbage where garbage belongs.
Okay then.
Well,
I think that's fair. That's fair.
That's as far as it goes, really. I mean, just you could have picked something better.
I mean,
like Kosovo.
I was going to send you to Serbia, right? But I think, those people have it bad enough.
Kosovo especially.
Oh.
Anyway, I think you cut Sam off from saying stuff.
No, not really.
Did?
I was gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for Andrea to get back before.
Yeah.
Fucking I missed that part.
Oh, do you know
Huh?
Adam, what have you been up to?
Yeah,
Have
what you've been doing.
Have you been kissing any boys?
How much? How much out of 10? How much boy kissing have you done?
At a moment, how many fleshy boy lips have you felt against your own? Are you even here?
Are you done yet?
Is that really what
waiting?
you're going with? Fleshy boy lips? Really?
That's how I describe yours.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, that's true, but you know,
Wow, they're so made of meat and swollen.
It's like
wow, it's almost like they're actual lips and not, you know, plastic.
It's like I'm pressing a doner kebab to my face. It's so saucy as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
okay, Adam, what have you been doing?
I've just sort of been browsing through different games I have on Steam. I mean,
I fell.
after the big old news was announced, I had to go at Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, what
Oh
news?
yes, the sequel. Yes.
I kind of watched I would say I watched too many Let's Plays of that, but I only watched one.
Is that
I
enough?
also only
Too
watched one.
many.
Because that kind of kills the response to any game you play.
Well, it's a jump scare game, isn't it?
Yeah, as in the entire point of it is that it's all extremely scripted. So once you know when certain things are going to happen, well, you know it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, once you like look up a walkthrough or something for a survival horror game,
Jump
like
scare
nothing should be that. Okay, yeah, jump scare game. Nothing should be that scripted that you can look up a walkthrough to get through.
I think the thing is that, I mean, it's been an interesting game to follow because, I mean, I think most of us first heard about the game through Jim Sterling's Squatty Place.
I just
Where
saw
it was sort of,
I remember he did a Best of Steam Greenlight video on it.
as in, we heard about it as part of the list of games that somehow, because
it looks
how
fucking
broken
horrible.
Steam is,
It looks
got through the system.
It looks like pure garbage and like shots and everything.
Disagree. I think it looks stylized.
I think
I
the thing
wouldn't
is,
call it looking bad. I would
low fidelity, bro.
low
I would say
fidelity
that
is probably more fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Very low fidelity.
As in, the game itself, I hesitate to call it a game, more like a proof of concept.
Yeah, but that's what
The
most horror
whole
games
game
are.
is sort of pretty much a look at this idea I have. It's extremely rough. It's not great. People keep saying it's scary and it's brilliant and stuff, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's
Adam.
I can actually tell you how.
I love the character designs.
Adam, it's
I think that's the thing. It looks really cool, as in it's a really neat idea that hopefully the sequel can improve on, because that seems to be what the first game was made for.
But Adam, the thing is, it's a horror game. Horror game has extremely low standards on it because there's so few good.
Well, that's true, but that's not an excuse.
Well,
there's a lot of different horror games out there. There's quite a lot of good ones as well.
There are.
It's just that it's a genre that has so many of them. I think there's something special about them because
what does TB? It's a desperation genre. It's like people really want a good game of that sort, so people just keep cranking them out, and most it's not very good.
Well, no, but we keep hearing so many alternating opinions on what horror games are and what they should be and whether or not people want them.
I know
we're supposed to believe that, one, nobody wants horror games at all, which is why nobody cared when The Evil Within came out.
That's true.
But
is it
yeah,
out
as in
it's yeah.
Wait,
no
it's actually
one,
out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one likes that game, by the way.
But yeah, I think the problem was that everyone was like, finally, a real horror game is being released on next gen. Let's ignore all the stuff indie games have been doing because they're not the real horror games. This is the real horror game, and it just ended up being a greatest hits tour of Shinji Mikami's work.
Adam, you literally do that whenever I say there's a Vita game coming out.
Because it's funny watching you get angry.
But I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Rogue Legacy.
Haven't you noticed that I get more exaggerated every single time I bring up the Vita?
Well, I'm like, oh cool, Risk of Rain's coming out on the Vita. Oh, look at that, look, Duke Nukem 3D's coming out on the Vita. And then you go, that's not a real game, it's an indie game. Like, what,
and then I sort of laugh, and then you're like, I wonder if he's being serious.
It does take me a minute.
But yeah,
Sam, I don't think you're ever serious. That darling vest you wear, I can't take you serious.
Vest?
But
yes,
I don't wear a vest.
yes, you do.
But yeah, as in
It's your signature look.
Yeah, and a vest and an ascot.
None of these things exist.
I love making things up about that. Okay, it's sorry.
Yeah,
the other one. Go on.
Whatever horror games are coming out for next gen aside from PT/Silent Hills, which I reckon is also going to be similar to the Evil Within. It's going to be greatest hits of Silent Hill games, which they all are now, it seems.
There is.
I have heard the theory thrown around. I think it was mentioned on here before. I think Andrea might have said it. Silent Hills will be partially randomized in some manner to allow everyone to have their own personal Silent Hill, which would be the best idea ever.
Except randomization doesn't always work out as a good thing.
No, obviously they'd have to make the randomization work. I'm not saying they take the fucking world generator from Minecraft and use that to make a game. I'm saying they use, because there are games with randomization that works. Like the way Spelunky does it. You've got lots of components of levels, and then it just pieces the components together.
That's the worst.
What?
It's the worst.
Spelunky?
You should have said Rogue Legacy.
No, I actually think Rogue Legacy is
Matty, you need to check yourself.
Yeah,
before
don't
wreck yourself.
I'm sorry, but I'm fucking wrecked, mate.
You fucking slagging off Spelunky?
Yeah.
Get off. Get off the phone.
You know what?
Now.
I'm not gonna get off your dick. I like it.
Well, how the fuck are you on my dick when you're 2,000 miles away?
Hey, your dick is pretty big.
Well, yeah, but it's not 2,000 miles big.
I beg to differ, and my aching anus as well.
Are you sure that's me?
I mean, it's a fat Bulgarian man. It might be.
It's not me. It's not me.
Whose dick am I on? Adam, is it you?
No, you're not on my one.
Who's on your one?
No one.
Oh.
But
it's me.
No.
Spoiler. But yeah, it was also interesting that the Evil Within came out around the same time as Alien Isolation.
And it's
Yeah,
Apparently
Alien
it is
Isolation.
actually good.
Alien Isolation has been well received. The only review I saw that was speaking badly of it was a review where they said the biggest complaint was overexposure to the alien makes it less scary, which just sounds like they were shit at the game and died a lot.
No, but that's fairly true. If you're
it's fair.
No.
It's fair of every horror game. But Amnesia is less scary.
No. But that's the thing with horror. The more you see of something that's scary, the less it just becomes.
Yeah, agreed.
I have a recent piece of proof of that.
It's routine.
The film Annabelle has a bit where a woman goes into an elevator to try and go down to the basement. She goes into the basement, but then there's a spooky thing. So she runs back into the elevator, presses the button. It sounds like it's going up. But then when the elevator opens, she's still at the basement. This was scary the first time. It wasn't scary the second time they did this exact routine.
Yeah, and
it wasn't scary the third time they did this routine. It was funny the fourth time, because it's like imagining her thinking, now, what if it's this time I get back to where I want to go? No, it's the basement again. And then the fifth time it's not scary.
I mean,
at this point you're imagining the devil just sitting there going, are you done?
Yeah, no, I get that, and I agree.
No, you
but
don't.
it generally just seems that the people, because like the only time you're really overexposed to the alien is if you keep dying by it.
Yeah, but as I understand, it keeps like popping out to like sneak around, and then you have to stop what you're doing and hide.
In the same manner that the film does, really, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen. That's the problem. It happens too much, and the game is too long. They also say.
Okay, I think that's fair. But most of the reviews that I've seen that are highly negative of it are generally just saying overexposure.
Yeah, but
the manner that they talk about the overexposure does just sound like they died too often.
No. Yeah, but that's not that's a very, I think, rude thing to say. That you're not bad at the game.
Oh no, I think in this case it is fairly accurate.
Well,
that would be like saying that I'm trying to think of an example now. Spelunky is a bad game because you're only ever in the mines. It's like, well, then you're just not good enough to get out of the mines.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know. That's a bit different. Just because the alien keeps popping out, right? And you have to hide from it. And then those people just might say, well, it's just going to do this again in a minutes later. Nothing comes of it.
That isn't valid. I'm just saying that the reviews that just said, like, I was overexposed to it were really just, no, you just died. Because I think it was very telling that one of the sites, I think it was it Kotaku? I can't remember the site I'm thinking of now. I think it might have been Polygon.
No one cares about it.
I think it was Polygon gave it sort of 6.
No one cares about it.
Okay. But they had an article that was like, the many ways you'll die in Alien Isolation. And it had like a show reel of a bunch of ways the reviewer died.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of telling. But at the same time, that's his opinion, whatever. That's fair.
I remember those from Tomb Raider. Like, every time you get a
they
magazine.
Did that Tomb Raider, yeah.
Every time you get a PlayStation magazine, there would always, on the DVDs, there would always be a video of all the different ways I died in Tomb Raider because the controls were horrible.
And it just kind of...
That's a fair thing for the early Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, totally, but it just kind of... It does desensitize you to it. Except the sound from falling damage in the first Tomb Raider.
And
sound.
Crunchy crunch?
It's not so much of a... It's a dull crunch and a thud. It's a realistic sound.
Oh, nice.
It's the kind of sound I would expect someone falling off of a high place onto rock.
Let's try it.
Vid?
Adam, come over here.
Okay.
We're gonna do science, you and me.
Shall we not?
Okay, fine, we won't kill Adam.
Okay. But yeah, whatever. Horror is always one of those things that the less exposure, the better.
And I think
that's the problem with the Evil Within, where it does sort of seem like I kind of saw it. I hate to say I saw it coming, or I told you so, but a lot of focus was placed on its graphics. About how look how scary this game is going to be, because
I hear it's mostly just gore.
Yeah, as in
bloody, scary.
I mean, watching all of the different films for spooky, scary cinema, I've kind of I'd say I've been a little bit desensitized to goriness in general.
That's why I told you about the sound studio.
Yeah, as in, I like gore, like really gory stuff better when it keeps on pointing to it sort of like reflects on all the success as a humorous thing. Which is how I managed to enjoy nearly every trauma film I watch, as well as stuff like Brain Dead, which is very clearly designed as a comedy.
Well, yeah. Of course.
I mean, that's sort of how having large buckets of gore and blood just flying everywhere works at its best.
Or if you're making us like...
Unless you can actually make it feel squeamish. Unless...
there's people that like specific ways of like... If someone breaks a finger and it looks realistic, that's much worse than if a head gets cut off, because
you can relate to breaking a finger because you know what it feels like to have your finger just bent back. You don't know what it feels like to have
paper
your head
cut
cut
would make me squirm in a movie.
I don't even think just that.
Worst fucking part of Jackass, when they're doing the paper cuts in the webs. That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
In a
film.
God.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't just have to be relatable stuff. It just has to involve. If you can make it seem realistic, if the practical effects and the sound editing is done right, I mean, a film like the recent Evil Dead remake makes it all look really physical and there. And the only time when they stop doing that is when the film starts literally raining blood.
Yeah, because there's not really much way of doing that. Like, you could just like have a sprayer spraying red goo.
But yeah, when a character had a giant car just land on her arm, and then suddenly you can see it.
Grim.
Yeah, as in if you can do that, if you know how to make that sort of goriness physical, as in it doesn't look just dumb.
Adam, I want you to direct horror movies.
That would be kind of fun.
Like, not funny horror. I want really dark horror movies coming through. I want to see what your mind has hidden inside. Like all the years of, well, not years, but all the year of torture I've put you through, like manifesting itself on film.
Well then.
But yeah, it always seemed like in every preview of Evil Within that it was going for this really spooky, scary atmosphere. That was, look at this, it's just like the old Resident Evil games, but way gorier.
Even like The Onion did a video about the Evil Within, a sponsored video, but it was still funny about how like barbed wire misuse in the film, and like the barbed wire manufacturers and farmers and stuff are all very upset by it. But like that, even then, the stuff that they showed of the game in that was just really gory and gross, and like barbed wire being used for various things. And it was used for comedic effect, but it was still gross.
It apparently runs very poorly as well.
It does, yeah.
It has the black, what do you call them, cinema bars?
It has cinema bars, which they claim are for effect.
Fuck off.
They don't claim that those are for optimization reasons, but I guarantee they are for optimization reasons. Speaking as fucking Oddworld Abe's Exodus, one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
The original Oddworld Abe's Odyssey was full screen. All of the frames were full screen. And in Abe's Exodus, they added small letterboxes in the top and bottom. It was not enough that people really noticed unless you directly compare the two. And the reason they did this was that it shaved around 2 months of compile time off of the render.
Right.
Just cutting off sort of, I don't know, less than 100 pixels from the top and bottom combined, that saved a ridiculous amount of time. And so, if you're doing it live, as the Evil Within obviously is, then it will save you a lot of render hours if you...
Yeah.
You know,
And they want to keep the frames per second good.
They do.
They still can't, apparently.
No, they can't, no.
I'm just waiting for them to, like, okay, they're gonna push for 30 frames per second, right?
Yes.
And then they go, Yeah, but 24 is more cinematic.
I think some people have tried that. In fairness to I'm going to give credit to the game industry in something. They have pretty much said that 30 should be the baseline. I don't think they would ever go lower than 30.
The new London game, the steampunky London.
1886, The Order.
Yeah, those devs said that 24. We would like to have it in 24 because that's the most cinematic, and we want to give a cinematic feel.
And then everyone sort of heard it as,
"Are you fucking crazy?"
Yeah, no.
I thought you said, "Are you fucking racist?"
What?
Well, they probably are.
That's what I heard you say. That's what I heard you say. As in,
they probably are racist, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, if they're making a game about London, it's probably really racist.
I think the thing is with
It's about you keep taking back London.
the whole the whole frames per second resolution for horror games is always interesting because of the variety and different ways people manage to utilize that. As in, most indie games never seem to need to worry about that sort of thing because the game is designed in a way that makes it immensely easier and cheaper to make than most AAA games, but still become just as effective as the AAA games.
You have to have a high frame rate for just precision. You still want precision in gaming, even if it's a horror game, right? You want to be able to aim or move or run or whatever. So you should have a high frame rate, but you can still make the enemies move janky if that's what you're after, or I don't know what the excuse is to have lower in horror games.
I do understand the excuse. And the excuse really is that with a horror game, and I kind of play devil advocate with this, you don't necessarily need a very high frame rate in a horror game. Specifically because, especially if it's a slow-paced horror game, Resident Evil does not run at 30. The first one.
Yeah, well, it also moves like it's clumpy, slow.
Most of the famous horror games of the time do not run at 30.
But on the other hand, horror games, those games aren't made anymore.
No, they're not. That's exactly the thing. Is that we have come to expect, from the PS2 onwards, we've come to expect 60. There are certain games where we are willing to sacrifice frame rate for graphics. God of War 2.
Turn-based games.
Turn-based games do not even need frames.
Yeah, precisely. They don't need.
They need frames per minute. Fucking for turn-based.
They need good animation, basically.
They need. They need to go between states well. But you.
I know. Kiss.
I've kind of lost track of what I was saying now, but horror games, you don't necessarily need the high frame rate, but at the same time, a high frame rate would be nice.
Yeah.
Because I had a guy who was loudly berating me for his saying, because me saying I understand them not wanting it or not needing it at 60 to be meaning all games should be at 30, which is not what I said at all. This man's a stupid knobhead. But what? You don't need a horror game at 60. Unless you need the precision.
I think it depends
It should be at 60.
It depends on what kind of horror game.
Yeah. If it's like Resident Evil 5, then yeah, it should be at 60.
Yeah, all horror games aren't Resident Evil. I would rather say 4 than 5 here now.
Because 4 doesn't run at 60 on most systems.
Yeah, but that's because it was a fucking GameCube game.
It was a GameCube game.
Adam.
Why is that bad?
It's best on the GameCube.
No, it's best on the Wii.
I have it on the GameCube and it's really good.
The Wii version's the best one.
Yeah, well, you're the best one.
I am the best Resident Evil 4 version.
You know what? I just want to put my hands inside you and play Resident Evil 4.
I am no longer the best version of Resident Evil 4.
The knife fight is going to be a hell of a thing to do.
Oh, I stopped playing at the first chainsaw guy.
I say the best version of Resident Evil 4 is the iPhone version.
There's an iPhone version?
Yes.
Of course there is.
It looks terrible.
Of course it does. It's the iPhone version of Resident Evil 4.
Does it have one enemy on the screen at a time, or?
Oh, that's a bit harsh. About 2.
Whoa.
Wow. So it's more like the I Am Omega game.
So
It's
frantically
sort of like,
smash
imagine
screens.
Resident Evil 4, but you know that bit where they sound the bell and all of the villagers come out? And you have to run from all these stampeding hordes of villagers?
Yeah.
Imagine just two coming out and they all say, look, just imagine there were others there, alright?
They come later. Chill out.
But-
We'll put them in a patch.
How you doing, by the way? Have you found the president's daughter yet? And
Hey,
Leon's like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna,
it's going fine.
I'm gonna wind up and throw this, this sigh at you. So, get ready.
You seem to be running into the wall there, Leon. I mean, those touch controls, am I right?
I mean, how do you do you just smash the
Oh,
screen
you've
with both hands?
gotten a text message. We'll wait here for you. We'll wait.
I hope that
It's alright.
I hope
Yeah.
this didn't cost you much. Oh, it did? Oh.
How much was this? Was this £4? You say it was? I mean, you got it in the sale, right? I mean,
You didn't buy it. Oh.
you did. Oh,
We will just let you win then.
I mean, here's the daughter. I mean, you don't even have to fight all these people with little worms inside them. I mean,
I blame you, Sam.
I like the idea
is my fault.
of a game where the enemies just give up because they feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Not you, the player, but you, the person who bought the game. That would have made Resident Evil 6 way better.
They all just take pity on you and like, oh, come on, it's okay. We can pretend it's a better game. We can we can play hide and seek or something.
No. We can pretend if it's a horror game if you want. I mean, look at this zombie thing.
Whoa, I'm a vampire. Whoa.
This is my favourite game ever. It's got a vampire and an explosion.
And helicopters. And muscles.
Look, you're playing as a character voiced by Troy Baker. It's a real game, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, Adam. When are you gonna get your life together?
I've got my life together. I got a job.
No, you don't. That's not a real job.
Yes, it is.
Vid has a real job. He lifts things and he's a manly man.
I lift things for
I lift
€4 an
things,
hour.
but I lift boxes.
You know what you do? You just clean out the toilets. That's all you do.
I haven't had to do that yet, and I'm so happy.
Oh, thank God. I can't wait for you to get a good poop story, though.
I've told you people about my McDonald's poop story. Of course I have.
Yeah.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
I can't wait for Adam just to come back from work one day and say, Maddie, so much poop today. Lord of mercy, let me tell you. Let me tell you, mate.
Shall we have a break now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, we're on break. Hello and welcome back to PodTea'd.
I had an apple.
Oh.
Okay,
That's
Sam, I came up with something we could do to kill our valuable time and that of our listeners.
Okay. I'm nervous of this, but go on.
Yeah, I want to list up a few things, and I wanted to say with yes or no if you can afford them.
Okay, go on.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay. Shoes.
Yes.
Electricity.
Yes.
Fresh food.
Yes.
Love.
Sadly not.
Aww.
Now you feel bad, don't you?
I wanna know what love
love
is.
Oh, can't see the other.
Bing, bong, bong, bong.
Hey, Sam, I'm always free for you.
I'm good.
You know,
I can't fight this feeling anymore.
Oh God, I'd love to do it,
For
Sam.
whatever reason, every time I think of,
What I started fighting for.
every single time I think of, like, the physical embodiment of love, all I ever think of is 80s power ballads.
Yeah, and every time we touch... No, I'm just gonna stop.
I mean, that's what love is. Love died in
I
the
don't
90s.
want anybody else.
When I think about
How
you,
do I touch myself? Oh.
Yeah, I was really hoping one of you was going to change the ending to that sentence and find something more clever and fun to say with it.
Well, sometimes I touch
This is
man.
PodTea'd. I mean,
Clever and fun. What is this?
Hey, listeners, don't you just hate yourself?
Okay, is that where we're leaving that?
Yeah.
Fucking, okay.
I have no follow-up. The listener has arrived to this point.
We started this podcast with a 20-minute unfunny joke. I'm pretty sure all listeners hate themselves.
And us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sam, make that
Are
sound.
there any questions at all?
Questions already?
Oh, actually, no, I have a game I've been playing that I wait.
Yeah, Sam is a fucking
No,
game.
let's hear
Well,
what
someone
Sam's
needs to
playing.
get started on
I
finding
have.
it.
I decided, because I don't have enough things to do, I'm going to play all of the Shock games. Because I had already done most of System Shock for the second time, and I thought, you know what, I need to try System Shock 2 again. And, I'll try all of them. So I'm most of the way through System Shock 2. Admittedly, it got better after the opening, and after I read a guide telling me explicitly which fucking character to build. Because figuring out which character to build to actually make it through the game, quite difficult.
Classic CRPG design!
Yeah, especially as there's a point in the game where you have to hack a vending machine in order to get an item. You have to hack it. You have to have a hack of 3. If you do not have the cyber modules to get the hack of 3, you cannot finish the game.
Well, that's shit. That is shit.
That is shit. I will absolutely agree.
That's complete fucking bollocks. Luckily for me, I was playing Navy, so I had a hack of fucking 6 by that point. So I was all good.
Like a fucking boss.
I mean, that's the problem with, like, so many classic RPGs in general.
Definitely.
There's so many games, or just games in general from like the 80s and 90s.
Point-and-click adventures were very, very good.
Yes, Maniac Mansion.
Yeah, if you
Love the game. If you pick the wrong kids at the start of the game, oops, you can't finish it.
Yeah, what's the point of that? That's stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. But yeah, there's that, and it's okay. There are parts of the game that I think are complete wank. And for instance, I'm now at the penultimate level, which is you were inside the body of the many, which is one of the most badly designed levels I've played in anything in quite a long time. In fact, it reminds me of the Grave Mine from Halo 3, mainly because the Grave Mine from Halo 3 completely rips it off.
Halo 3 is a blur for me.
Halo 3, you go inside the giant flood guy.
Do you? Or maybe you do.
And it's exactly the same.
Oh.
As the body of the many. It's exactly the same. It's a giant fleshy level with sphincters for doors.
A lot of games does that.
Yeah, they do.
They do, and they all seem to originate, for the most part, after System Shock 2.
I have walked through so many sphincters in games.
Duke Nukem Forever does it as well. It completely rips off the body of the many.
Ocarina of Time sort of does it, with Lord Jabba Bailey.
Kind of, but Ocarina of Time was around the same...
Yeah.
Same
no,
time.
I just meant the same...
I would say that just happened to be a similar...
yeah, I wasn't saying it was ripping it off.
Yeah.
It's similar.
But yeah, this level's completely awful. But the combat is... not sure... I don't know. It's one of those things like where in various ways it's improved from the original, but in many ways it's worse because they have basically made it more RPG, rather than you have a gun and the gun always does the same amount of damage. It's now, oh no, you have a gun and if you have certain attributes it does different things. And I kind of don't like that design, but whatever. The thing that I find most fascinating about it... Okay, so here's a hypothetical. Say I made a game.
Yeah.
And in that game, it was reasonably successful and it reviewed well, but there was one enemy that was universally hated. One element in that game. One particular enemy that was universally hated. And... by me, specifically designed to make the player sad. Specifically designed to anger the player and to target them at times when they least expect it. Would you then bring them back in the sequel as the only recurring enemy?
Only if I'm an asshole.
The only enemy from System Shock 1 so far that is in the sequel is the fucking Cyborg Assassins. Fuck the Cyborg Assassins.
Damn,
Fuck
bro.
them in both games.
I sort of wish you were recording yourself or playing this game, because I would love to just hear your reactions live.
It.
I heard you playing when you tried it last time.
Yeah.
Because we were playing it at the same time then.
Yeah.
And it was just such a delight to just hear you just be so angry at the game.
At least in System Shock 1 I can understand it, because in
Yeah.
Shock 1 Shodan has designed her traps to specifically harm you. In Shock 2, there is only a couple of those traps that I've come across. And they're not designed by Shodan, they're designed by the many who are considerably dumber.
And it's like, the best part with your rants against System Shock 2 is, even though I like the game a lot, I can't really fault your complaints, because there's very legitimate complaints.
Because, admittedly, I'm enjoying it far more this time around.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to call it good in many regards. I would be willing to call it incredibly flawed, and introduces designs that were sensibly removed from future Shock games because they were pointless.
Yeah, I will admit to, since I said I also started replaying the game around the time when you played it last time, and there are stuff that, in retrospect, like today, I like, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
They should not just done that, and
There are things like that just seem weird in the game. Like, I mean, weapon degradation, I understand why it's there.
Yeah, I like that.
But why is repair and maintain two different attributes?
That's a good question.
Because surely they're the same thing. I mean, I would have thought so anyway. Why is it possible, as I said earlier, to get so far in the game and not be able to progress because you've not decked out your character the way the game wants you to? It's arbitrary. It's pointless, you know. The first game never does that. There is no point in the first game where you are incapable of finishing it due to failing something. Because everything's inventory-based and object-based. Even if you somehow manage to throw all your plastique away, it never gets destroyed. It's always still in the level, and you can always go down and still grab it.
Yeah.
There's never anything preventing you from doing so. Whereas in 2, there's a lot of things preventing you, and just certain aspects about the level design. The levels are sometimes well designed and sometimes awfully designed. The thing that I find most jarring is that the first game felt like a space station. Admittedly, there were flaws in it, like, okay, where do they eat? There's a dining hall, but there's nowhere to actually get food from it, you know. Well, that was a limitation at the time. Whereas System Shock 2 does not feel like a ship. Does not
I agree.
a ship. It feels like a base of something.
I would sort of compare it to, you know how in Doom 1, they tried their best to sort of recreate various realistic, quote-unquote, settings for a futuristic environment on stuff. And then in Doom 2, they did not they did not do the same for Earth. Like,
no,
nothing in Doom 2 will feel, even the street level feels like Earth. I mean, yeah, the textures are there.
Yeah.
Like, I can see the road there, but it doesn't feel like I'm in the city. It just feels like a weird level design.
Yeah, and ignoring some of the more jarring things about the fact that a lot of the content is stolen from Thief, I'm willing to overlook most of that because the content's still fine. The melee combat's bullshit. Never, ever do swing arcs in melee combat in a game not about melee combat. If Chivalry, go ahead. The game is about melee combat. Don't do it in a game where it's just a thing you can do. Like, imagine in Half-Life if you actually had to, like, hit the swing arc of the crowbar.
Yeah. I can see that working if, like, there is a specific way to very easily manipulate the speed you will do it at.
Yes, yeah, but there really isn't in System Shock.
There isn't.
It's very much like you... Because it's stolen from Thief. But Thief was a game designed to not... Like, to dissuade you from doing combat. And System Shock 2 is a game that's not trying to dissuade you from doing combat, for the most part. There are times, but, you know.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Matty. The exploding robots are bullshit, because the exploding robots in the first game die in one hit, therefore making them just an obstacle that you have to get past, whereas the ones here take several, and there's not much ammo in the game.
Yeah, they just eat up ammo.
They do, they really do. And while you can bait them into exploding just out of range, it's quite difficult.
The maps are too... Generally, the ones I were in was too narrow, at least.
Yeah. They've also decided, after after you leave the Von Braun, no more maps.
Oh.
You get no more overhead maps. even though the Rickenbacker is a ship that should have maps of it, I think the reason for the Rickenbacker being that the map is so convoluted and, like, maze-like that they can't do that. But the body of the many, it makes sense not to have a map for, but it kind of needs it because it's really weird. It's like some of the weirder levels of Thief. It's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Funnily and sprawling and interesting thing about the body of the many, though, I discovered that the textures of the level are based upon footage of one of the developers' colonoscopies.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
That's kind of cool, but at the same time, ew.
We know this guy too closely.
Yeah, like, that's kind of cool, but I wish I didn't know that.
Keep it to yourself, mate.
But there are a few other things, like, just the kind of plot of the... I love the idea of, like, the groves, the creatures from the grove being a thing that, like, comes back. I think that's clever. And the body of the many is a cool villain, but I do not like working for Shodan. It's wrong. Why is she still, like, she's insulting you while she calls you her avatar, and is, like, praising you, and then is insulting you and calling you an insect. It doesn't work. In the first game, she was calling you an insect because she hated your guts, and she wanted you dead. In 2, at least until the end, as far as I know, because I know you fight her at the end, she doesn't want you dead. She wants you to survive, because you're her chance of doing everything, like you are her hand. So, why is she being such a twat? Besides the fact that it's Shodan. I don't think that's a valid excuse.
That's sort of like... I'm going to be very mean about this next comparison, but that's saying, why couldn't GLaDOS be nicer?
Well, she was in the second game, and it was
Well, not really. Think about it. In the first game, GLaDOS was nice to you.
Because we thought that she was just a computer program.
But bear in mind that GLaDOS does not have a need for you in Portal.
I mean...
She has you there for revenge. She does not need you in any way.
I will admit to that. I don't want to say too much, partially because you haven't finished System Shock 2 yet.
Mm-hmm.
And partially because I haven't finished System Shock 2 in 15 years.
Yeah.
So my memory is very hazy.
But yeah.
My memory is very hazy on how things are, but I do recall, and I could be wrong, but I do recall feeling that all fell into place as it went on. I could be wrong, but I do recall that working out in the end.
Yeah.
I should finish that game again.
And actually, there's a good comparison between the way the dialogue's done in Portal 2 and the way the dialogue is done in System Shock 2 compared to the originals. Because in the originals, you're not being directly told what to do. I mean, Rebecca Lansing is telling you, okay, you need to go blow up the laser. But she doesn't tell you how. She says the laser is charging. Fucking help us. And you have to go help her. You find in audio logs people who were trying to come up with a way of doing it. They come up with a way of doing it and record it for a log, like, we found out how to do this. If I fail, this might work. Someone else can try. Whereas in 2, Shodan directly tells you what to do. Which is kind of... I don't like that so much. And admittedly, I'm falling into the same trap with my writing. And it's hard not to fall into that trap. Bioshock fell into that trap. And you've got to be a damn good writer not to fall into that trap. But I don't know. I don't know whether Ken Levine's a strong enough writer to...
Oh, well, you finished Bioshock, right?
I finished Bioshock, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
but Bioshock had a clever reason.
Yeah, I'm assuming everyone has finished Bioshock.
I assume everyone here really enjoyed it as well.
The first
I mean, everyone here was a big fan of that sort of thing. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but like, as I'm assuming you were just about to say, and I was about to say the same thing. Like, yeah, Bioshock used a very specific plot point to explain, like, why everything is directed.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the character's mental process and all that stuff. Like,
yeah. But where, I don't know, it just seems odd. Like,
yeah, you were going to compare it to Portal.
Yeah, how in the first Portal, you're never being like. GLaDOS will tell you things, but she never directly tells you what.
Nothing really makes sense what GLaDOS tells you in context. Like, it will. You never feel that she spoils anything for you, so to say.
like so she'll tell you. There's only, in fact, in the commentary, Valve directly say they only ever say in one level what to do. GLaDOS only tells you what to do in one level, and that's introducing the concept of momentum because people were having trouble figuring out how that worked. So GLaDOS gives you a vague hint, and that's the only time they ever did it.
Also, when you need to incinerate the cube.
Yeah, there's that too, but again, that was a direct.
But that's a very good reason.
She does tell you to lie down on the ground and just wait to die at one
But that's
point.
not something you can actually do.
Yeah, you can't even do that.
I think, can't you?
No, you can't.
No, there's no lying down.
Oh yeah, but
there is an achievement for staying in that room for longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I don't know, it's sort of hard to. But like in Portal 2, GLaDOS gives you. I mean, not so much GLaDOS, maybe like. But yeah, GLaDOS does, and so does Wheatley. They both give you direct commands on what to do.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it's hard to not fall into that trap, and people like the writing in Portal 2, and you know, I understand why. I think as much as it's a much broader kind of comedy for the most part, I do still enjoy it.
And Portal 2, like, in regards of directing the player, it wanted to be more cinematic. It wanted to be more linear in that regard.
Definitely, yeah.
Like,
it was more begrudging about having.
The first Portal had a nifty idea of a story, but wanted to present you puzzles. Yeah. Portal 2 had, this is the idea of a story, the puzzles come second in presentation.
For the most part, yeah. It really did feel like they came up with the story first. And again, you know,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
nothing wrong with that.
And again, like,
it's a different way of thinking.
I'm guilty of the same thing. In my thing, I came up with the plot first. The puzzles came after. Only now that I'm reworking the plot, is the plot coming second, and therefore I'm able to, like, you know, change various things to fit better. And, you know, I think it's going to be better in the long run. But, you know, Shock 2 doesn't feel like it was designed. I don't know, like, it feels like it was designed as a game, but it doesn't feel like it was designed with the story in mind.
Well, it
feels like it was designed to be. It feels because it wasn't originally a System Shock game.
Exactly, it wasn't.
And it feels like it was designed with the sort of the levels in mind first. And while I do prefer that in a puzzle game, in a game that's primarily story-focused, that's not really how you should do it, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think you should, if your focus on the game is the story and not the gameplay, then you should design the story first and come up with the gameplay around that. You should obviously have a good idea of the gameplay when you come up with the story, because you shouldn't, like, come up with a plot that requires gameplay you can't make. But, you know, you need to have it all fit together, and it doesn't seem to quite fit. Especially as the level design at parts of System Shock 2 just don't make any sense at all. Like, at all. Whereas in Shock 1 it all feels, ignoring the fact that there are certain oddities about Shock 1. Like, as I said, like the fact that they don't appear to have any place to buy food. But there's ATM machines, for some reason. It's one of those things, but like, it's just...
I think one of the best examples of like a space station that actually felt like this is a place where people could live and do their work is Doom 3.
Yeah, Doom 3 does a good example. But even Doom 3 does have its flaws. Like, it is kind of like, okay, do they all eat in the bar? Or, I mean, there's more to it than that, but...
Dead Space, the first Dead Space, I think, really did a nice job making you feel like you're on a ship.
Yes.
Mostly due to sound design. It sounded
but level design-wise, I mean, Doom 3, every level in the station in Doom 3, they're not designed to be... Like, they're not designed as a video game level, necessarily. They're designed as a place in this the space station.
Yeah.
And then the concepts of a level, apart from the master closets, and then the aspects of the levels, like this is stuff you need to find, things that places need to go, are just sort of put into an already existing map.
Yeah, I mean, they even did that with the destroying of levels in Doom 3. They actually built them all nice and pristine and then wrecked them with their version of the gravity gun, which is, you know, a good way of doing it, and Valve do that as well, not to the same extent, but they do it. They finally released a tool that actually lets other people do that. Tool called Foundry. But, yeah, I don't know. System Shock 2 is a weird one, and I'm gonna definitely finish it.
I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts when you're done with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to suffer some more.
There's not.
I still need to play Bioshock Infinite. That's the only Shock game I'm.
I have not played Bioshock 2 or Burial at Sea.
I like Bioshock 2.
I heard the gameplay's better than the first one, but like
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem with Bioshock 2 is
plot extension.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh well, where was all this in the first game? Like,
Yeah.
that's the
I
problem
would feel
with
that way
Bioshock 2.
about System Shock 2, but like there's certain things they've done. It's clearly been made by fans of the original.
Yeah.
Because there's little things, like all the buttons on the space station are branded Tetracorp, which is the corporation barely mentioned at the end of the first game, as just kind of the corporation that the hacker goes after next. Which I think that's really cool. I like that. I like that they just decided to put that nod in there. It's such a minor thing, but I think that's pretty cool. But it doesn't, because there's lots of these little references where they've redesigned a texture from the original. Or something similar, and it always makes it's nice, but it's not enough. If you know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
The game part needs to be strong as well.
Yeah, and while it's not bad by any means, it's not great. And
I found it horrific.
I understand finding it horrific. But there are people who call it like the greatest game ever made, and no, it's
God, I feel such bias remorse for buying that.
I don't. I got it for a couple of quid, and I think it's definitely worth a couple of quid. It's definitely worth more than that. Even if just to try a game that everyone loves so much.
It's a game I feel people who want to talk about video games should try.
Definitely.
For the sake of conversation. Yeah.
It's
an important part of video game history.
Comparing it to the first game, it is deeper than the first game in terms of the stuff you can do. While I much prefer the first game's method of inventory management
Which I do too.
Rather than stats. The stats actually mean you can play it in so many different ways. I have not bought a single psionic power or put a single point into psi because they're so weak early game, and I was so frustrated last time when I tried to do a psi build. I just said, fuck that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. And now I'm playing as Navy, I'm finding it much more fun. But there are weird bits, like the fact that I've gotten a gun to which I have no ammo for, but I've gotten this gun late game. So I couldn't have gotten this gun earlier in the game, as far as I know. So, like, I am now stuck with this gun. Like, there are guns that really do not deserve the point requirement that they have, and things like that. There's some oddities, but usually it is deeper than the first game. But with that comes a bit more bullshit. Ignoring the fucking cyborg fucking twats. Why did they bring that?
Oh, Matt's gonna cut all of this out.
Oh, he will. I will. But yeah, that's
if he
what I
cuts
think.
all of that out, he has to cut out the entire intro as well, just so that he can.
No. If Matt cuts that out, I'm gonna cut him.
Oh.
I keep threatening him today.
That was actual video game talk.
Yeah, it's
Basically,
horrible.
It went on a bit long. You can cut
It's
out
horrible.
a bit of my.
It was good talk.
My video game talk was better.
We all talked about video games. We all had different opinions and contributed things. Even Adam said it. He's not big on System Shock as far as I know.
Adam loves System Shock.
I haven't played all the way through. I've only played like the first 10 minutes, so all I can
Shock
say
2
as well.
or the first one.
System Shock 2.
Okay,
Good
well,
old
that's
games.
fair.
I don't talk about video games, Phil. I talked about Five Nights at Freddy's and horror games.
You did.
Yeah, we shot
I
that.
missed that bit, yeah.
I like how we have to try and justify this episode to Matt right now.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have been here for the I wish I would have been here for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 talk though. But yeah.
I can restart it.
No. Do we do
I'll ask
questions?
you after the episode.
Do we do questions?
Yeah, go on.
Let's see, why not?
I mean, Sam,
I played Final Fantasy 4.
Sam, can you afford to be here?
What was that?
Can you afford to still stay on the call?
Can I afford to stay on the? Yes, it doesn't cost me anything besides the internet bill, but we already paid.
Yeah, okay. Good. I'll come do a shop with you later. I'll buy you some food.
If you want to buy me food, I'm not going to turn you down, mate.
But what food would you buy him?
Mostly surströmming.
You can't buy that in Asda, so.
I would bring it with me.
Well, then you're not buying me food. You're bringing me food.
Well, I'm buying it here.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
That's two.
Oh, you have to come to a shop with me.
I'm gonna tell Mr. Asta and say, hey, could you just put these on the shelves and pretend that I'm buying them for this darling boy?
Mr. Asda.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the TV series called The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret?
No.
It's a series about a guy who moves to the UK from America, not knowing anything about the UK, and has to sell an energy drink, which turns out to be a radioactive substance that is wanted by the North Koreans to build bombs out of.
Nice.
But he comes to the UK, and basically the guy in his office that's already there just fucks with him. And so he's like, oh yeah, you could try taking it to, where do people shop locally? And he goes, oh, people shop at Sainsbury's. Is that a local chain? I guess so, yeah. And he goes, okay then, go talk to Mr. Sainsbury and get our stuff on the shelf. And so he just walks in and just like puts it on the shelf and takes a photo and just like, oh yeah, Mr. Sainsbury is gladly taking our stuff. And then there's some like thing about that one of the shops has to get quarantined, and Sainsbury rings him up and he's like, what are you doing putting your product in our shop, your biohazard product? And he's like, how dare you, sir? I'll see you in court. We'll countersue you. And then like hangs up, and then like a week later finds a Sainsbury's and asks someone like, how big is Sainsbury's? This is a local store, right? No, they've got like 400 stores. So their legal team's pretty good, right? Oh yeah, I would think it would be pretty good. And so yeah, the entire series is basically just a rich guy fucking with a poor guy from America. And it's funny, it's really good. It's two guys from Arrested Development. The guy who plays
Will Arnett and
Will Arnett and
David Cross.
I was trying to think of the two names. I was struggling. I was about to think.
I know Will Arnett. I saw
joke.
Will Arnett in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film recently.
Will Arnett's in that?
Yeah, I think like in his obituary, like sooner or later, he will pass on. And I think the final, at the Oscars they always show a little clip of the greatest moments.
They do, yeah, they do.
Like, they need a clip of Will Arnett staring at Megan Fox's ass. And say, in memoriam.
A good man.
Everyone.
A dear friend. Yeah.
So, questions, do we have any?
Just a few. So if you could sing me a song.
No.
Do we have a question now?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Hungarian boy.
Hungarian boy?
Lehel Solt... Wow.
Do you want to mangle that anymore? Why do we rip these out?
I didn't even try.
I really don't. Lehel, I'm gonna call him. He has... He's a very happy boy. He loves porn. Good man. Should I pull out, or should I just do a battle cry and accept the consequences?
Well, you're wearing a condom, right? So it doesn't matter.
Hey, Lehel never wears a condom. He goes bareback every time.
Oh, well, I mean, you should probably pull out.
Just don't.
I mean,
not even once.
Hey, how about just try to sneak it in? Like, he does ejaculate, but he just makes no sounds. So maybe she just won't notice.
Okay, I think that's a game jam idea there.
The ninja impregnator.
The ninja impregnator. Oh my god, no.
That's the thing. That is a porn video that exists on X-Hamster, I think.
We were chatting the other day, and I think like someone made the joke "Weapons of Mass Destruction." I said that's probably a porn film. Looked it up. There's like 7 of them.
Yeah, I may have seen one.
Oh.
I actually watched one of those recently. Cause,
what?
Like,
Adam?
No, as in one of those weird, like one of those more creepy looking ones where, the time stop ones.
Oh god, no, there's no.
Time stop?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Time stop where, imagine a guy who's like, I can't get any girlfriends, and then he gets a stopwatch out and he reenacts the worst ever reproduction of Bernard's watch.
I was about to say, it's filthy Bernard's watch. That's what it is.
That sounds
What
upsetting.
happened? Bernard was a pervert.
Probably.
Pretty much, and yeah, as in they stay static all the way through.
So
The woman
odd.
just looks so. Most of the time, they'll be stopped in the middle of a conversation, that their mouths are just hanging out,
Well, yeah, that's the reason for
and it's
that.
just like as if to show, look, time really has stopped. And I'm
How
like,
do you even manage
that's
that
wonderful.
physically?
Whoa.
Well, I assume there's lots of takes and lots of cuts in order to get that, like,
Yeah.
finish.
That sounds okay.
Oh, please, Sam. These are professionals. One take, that's all they need.
I mean, Sam, right? I know when you used to do porn in the 80s, you were shit at it, but other people are pros.
Well, I'm sorry that before I was born and doing porn, I was not very good at it. I'm sorry that I was not.
I've been watching a lot of.
Such a good first line of a song ever. Before I was born, I was doing porn and I wasn't very good at it.
Well, it's true. You wouldn't be very good at it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of semen in porn too. It might
Exactly.
have been great.
Well, that's true. That is true.
If you don't get inside someone, you just.
How do we spend so much time on this question?
Okay,
No,
fine.
it's fucking question.
Next one then. What is the optimal penis length to girth ratio? I say
That's why we spent so long in the previous question, because they're all like this.
16.9.
I say 1 by 1.
50-50.
I'm trying to remember the improbability factor from the Hitchhiker's Guide about them being
1080p.
1080p 60 FPS. There you go. That's the ratio.
Yes.
I mean, I won't touch any dicks unless it's 1080p.
You shouldn't.
I mean, they're sharp otherwise. Ouch.
I mean, it's a standard that that Microsoft and Sony held us to for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
They
They
should
know.
now just be able to pull out and go no, 900p. Like no, you
that.
guys said 1080p. That was your standard. Now fuck off.
They are good dicks, but I'm done with their dicks now.
Yeah.
Sam will still have a bit some, but he's a slut.
What's the next question?
It's a fucking math question.
Oh, good.
Okay, can we skip it then?
Yes, we can. I don't even know what these things mean.
Right,
I'm
what's the
curious.
next question?
No, I'm curious. Do the maths one. Go on.
Do that one.
Oh, well, do I okay, I'm gonna have to try
Fucking
to
do it.
Okay, make S the subject of the formula.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, skip.
It's an actual maths question, not a jokey maths question.
Like, there's a lot of things that I don't know what they mean in this.
Oh, I thought you meant a math question.
Oh no, math.
Like it was for math.
As in, it's not a funny math question that's like, how many Maddies does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Probably none.
Yeah, he can't screw in light bulbs. He's not allowed.
I'm a screw up.
Next question.
We only really have one more.
Yeah, go for it.
It's from our good friend Ezekiel Gallo,
Hello.
the lazy Spaniard.
Oh.
Oh, he's lazy, believe me. I've played games.
Is that his wrestling name?
What?
What's the question?
He just asks, why so late? Well, actually, so late, why?
Basically, Thursdays are no longer good for us, so we can't record on Thursdays anymore. And then we were going to record on Friday, but some people had, schedules, and Adam had to go to do a job.
Oh.
And we all
He
agreed, well,
had to go to his job at the UKIP place. So,
yeah.
yeah.
He's the next Führer.
No, Nigel Farage is the next Führer.
I mean,
Adam is a member of the next.
Do I get to be do I get to be the Minister of Propaganda?
Yes. It will all be My Little Pony, like, get these immigrants out.
No. The thing is that I want all of UKIP's official.
Pony.
All I want is all of UKIP's official pamphlets to all say, Springle says, get out darkies. Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he already say that?
Adam, can you do that anyway? Just make, you've still got the Springles Facebook thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's sort of.
You could
be the voice
You
of
could
UKIP.
be the voice of UKIP for a new generation. The dog
please.
generation.
Please start posting UKIP updates for Springles.
Like, Springle's take on the recent UKIP events. Like, I agree with this.
Springles does not believe that the Calypso song is racist, and those... I was actually just going to be really racist then. I decided to stop myself.
Springle says, I stand with Godfrey Bloom.
Yeah, there we go.
I would just like to...
Godfrey Bloom, he was really funny on Have I Got News For You.
Because he knew that he had to be the one that can take a joke. Otherwise, he gets ripped apart even more.
Which, you know, fairness to him, he can take a joke pretty well.
Unless it's a black person interviewing him, then...
Yeah, pretty much.
It helps if you're white.
If
if we're talking to Godfrey Bloom at any point in your life.
I see.
Wait, have you guys ever seen the clip? Presumably, Adam, you've seen it. The clip where Godfrey Bloom was like, was it Tory or UKIP manifesto on the cover, and it was all white people. And so I think it was Jon Snow from Channel 4 came up and said, it's all white faces on this. Have you got anything to say about that? And then he said, how dare you? You are judging people on the colour of their skin. He grabs the newspaper thing, rolls it up, and whacks him on the head and goes, racist! Racist! And then storms out. Like, down the street. Meanwhile, the guy's going, but it's a valid question. Like, it's true. Your party has been called racist, and it doesn't have any other ethnicities on the cover. So, that's a potentially, it's not but like, the guy's just like, how dare you? Racist! Racist!
You know, to be fair, if that's your response...
Good response.
Yeah, good response.
Yeah,
response.
it was Michael Crick, and it was the UKIP brochure around this time.
I also liked his interview with Christian Guru Murphy, where he had to explain how this man who is he is black, how he was the racist one in this scenario, and that calling all of Africa Bongo land is not racist, and you are racist and prejudiced if you have a problem with that. You might have gathered that Godfrey Bloom doesn't have it all up there.
He's a bit of a nutter, yeah. He's one of those very right-wing people that, while he can take a joke, only makes him a little bit more hateable.
He can. It's like I said. I wasn't actually joking when I said it really helps if you're white when you're talking to him. Otherwise,
yeah.
It also helps if you're not. It also helps if you're male.
It does, although he is willing to talk to females, just not
charming.
Well, as long as they can put up with him sexually harassing them, as in...
Pretty much, yeah.
Charming man, I'm sure.
Oh yes, he is a true.
So he'll be our guest next week, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
please.
Again.
Do you know what? I actually think that, given the episode titles and stuff, that was all he went on.
A ragtag band of Nazis.
The Playmobil concentration camp. He would ask where you could buy one of those.
Oh, we have the best episode titles.
let me have...
That's the best part of our
That
show.
is
It's
the
the
best
only
part.
good part of the show.
I put in.
I would love the idea of him looking at Potty and going, it's suspiciously penis themed.
Don't know about that one.
I fucking had a house drinking when you said that.
Oh, you made my voice crack, you fucker. Oh, fucking.
Adam, you son of a bitch.
I think we should end the episode here.
I don't think we can. No, we're done. We're done.
We're done. Bye.
Get over it. Bye.
So, I'm Spamcat on Twitter.
Andrea_Ritsu.
I'm Adam Owen FTW.
Fuck off.
I was drinking during that as well.
Matt, that's a perfect place to cut, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're going to tell you here instead of a note.
Matt, I think your shoulders are sexy.
You do
I
realize
would like...
the more you say, the more's going to get left in, right?
Yeah.
You've been listening to PodTea'd. Thanks for coming, you slutty skis balls. PodTea'd are Matty Shoestring, Vid Sermon, Sam Morris, Adam Owen, Andrea Ritsu, the illustrious Tommy, and myself, Matt Turner. If you want to help us spread the word, tell your friends and like us on those Facebooks. Thanks to Jonathan Holmes for our intro, Custom Face for our theme tune, and Schnauzer Radio Orchestra for this music right here. Don't forget, Papa Boris is still at large, and it's well known that he can inhabit the mind of any person on the planet. Could it be you? Thanks for listening, and goodbye.